right, what's up, everybody? This is Tom Taylor with SCMP Martial Arts, joined today by the former one lightweight champion and really one of the best fighters in the world, Christian Lee. Christian, it's been a minute since we've had the chance to chit chat like this. How's everything going?
Everything's going good. Um, just just been enjoying the time with my family and training hard for the last few weeks. I started camp really early for this one, and I've been working hard for the past few weeks now. And it's about 7 weeks before the fight, but I'm already feeling great and ready to get in there and fight.
Right, man. Well, as you suggested, the big news is that we suddenly have a fight to discuss. We've been talking about this rematch since the first fight ended, and now it's finally official. It's finally announced too. How excited are you that this is finally happening?
I'm very excited for the rematch. I'm just the decision didn't sit too well with me, and yeah, I know personally, I know that I could have trained harder for that fight. I know that things could have gone very differently if I was able to get the proper fight camp that I needed. And so this time around, I'm making sure that I don't leave anything to question. I'm going to be working extremely hard for this one, and when the time comes down to it, I think it's going to be a very different fight.
hmm just in terms of the I don't want to say delay, because I don't think it's really anybody's fault, but in terms of the negotiations for this fight, what did take so long, right? I mean, because I spoke to you in February and you said it was kind of verbally agreed to even back then, and I know there were some injuries and stuff, but just from your side of things, what was the holdup on making this rematch happen?
Well, I think the main thing is that after the fight, Oak had a broken orbital from our
Mhm.
fight, so that takes some time to heal. And then I believe they were just working on a date for the fight to be set on. I know they had a few smaller shows, and I think they're kind of waiting to have a big one for this fight to happen. So I think this time around is just kind of when everything fell into place. So
Mhm.
I was just staying ready. I've been training, pretty much all the way through, just staying ready for this moment. But yeah, I just recently got the call and I got the contract in. So um, for me, that's all I care about.
Awesome, man. Well, you guys have landed on a big card. As you suggested, they were maybe holding off to save this matchup for a big card, and it's definitely a big card. Two title fights. Obviously it's the kickoff for this big weekend that One Championship's having with the Amazon Prime debut. How does it feel to be a part of this? The festivities of this Prime debut.
It feels great. It's big news that One Championship is going to be on Amazon Prime. They're a huge, media streaming platform, and yeah, I'm very excited for One Championship. I think this is going to be the start of a lot of great things for One Championship, and hopefully the shows kick off well, and there's a huge launch, and then we can have more shows on Amazon Prime in the future.
hmm Feel free to hit me with the no comment on this one, but any chance we see any other of the Lee siblings fighting that weekend? Anything going on in that respect?
No, no, it's just going to be me on that
Okay,
card.
all right. Well, let's talk about this rematch. The first fight was obviously very close. I guess the first question is, how many times have you watched this back since then, and has your opinion changed at all? Like, do you still feel that you decisively should have won that fight?
I haven't like obsessively watched the fight over again, maybe like 5 times,
Mhm.
um, and every time I tried to just step back and watch the fight without any bias, but I still feel that I won. Um, I still go through the One Championship scoring criteria for their fights, and I don't see how I lost it in any way. The only thing that I, judge myself on is the fact that I started to get tired throughout the fight. Throughout 25 minutes of pushing the pace, trying to go for the finish, I got tired. So in this
Mhm.
next match, I'm going to make sure that that doesn't happen. I'm going to make sure that I can push the pace hard for 25 minutes without breaking a sweat. And I plan on finishing him much sooner than that. But if it does go throughout 5 rounds, that's definitely not going to happen again.
Right, right. Well, that's kind of going to be the question that you're asked over and over again ahead of this rematch, right? Is what are you going to do differently? You mentioned, the cardio and making sure you've got the gas tank to really push for 25 minutes. Is there anything else that you feel like you can improve upon? You should practice this answer now because people are going to be asking you a lot over the next couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah, For me, I've never once in my career felt satisfied with where I'm at. I've never stopped trying to improve. So I've been working hard trying to improve my striking, trying to improve my wrestling, trying to improve my jiu-jitsu. So really every area of the game I'm working to improve. And I think just overall in my next fight, there's going to be a big improvement in every area. And you know, I'm just going to be a lot more sharp than I was in that last fight. I feel like, that was really one of the worst performances I could have had, and I still beat him on that night. So,
Mhm.
that's how I feel about it.
You call it a, a bad performance. It looked great to me, obviously, but you call it a bad performance, and you mentioned at the top of this call that it maybe wasn't your best training camp. I mean, why do you think that's what happened? Why was it a bad training camp, and why were you, so unsatisfied with the performance that you had?
Well, in my previous title defenses, I was lucky. I was able to get a full room of training partners. I was able to get multiple sparring partners throughout the camp, and push very hard. Leading up to that fight, just the way things were happening with COVID, with different things in my training partners' lives, my room really just shrunk down to me, my little brother, and one of our training partners on the our youth competition team. So I was preparing with going from a room full of sparring partners and training partners to two very talented but drilling partners.
Hmm.
And I wasn't able to get the live rounds that I typically get before my fights. And for me, I don't do a whole lot of you know I don't go out there and do a whole lot of running. I prefer to do my cardio training with my rounds. And so in this fight, when I didn't have
Guest
those
appearance.
and I think that's definitely what affected my cardio in the later rounds,
Hmm.
because I always push myself extremely hard. But in that last camp, just the way the circumstances were, I wasn't able to get that push that I normally get.
Hmm. Of course, in this rematch, you're going to be looking for a more decisive outcome to kind of silence the critics. He's going to be looking for a more decisive outcome as well, too, right? Because there are a lot of questions around his title reign now. Having said that, I mean, what do you expect him to do differently the second time around to make sure that he puts forth, a more decisive performance?
Well, for for myself, of course, I plan on getting a decisive win, um, finishing him soon. Definitely not going all 5 rounds. I will be prepared to do so. But I think for Oak, really his whole game plan in his last few fights have been the same thing. He likes to get his opponents chasing after him. He likes to defend the takedown, wait until they're tired, and then put the pressure on. Try to get some flashy moves to win over the judges, and that's worked for him so far. So I think he's going to be training extremely hard. I think he's going to be looking to knock me out, but I think we're going to see more of the same from Oak, and he's going to try and stick to that same game plan that's been working for him so far.
Hmm. Assuming you can throw a wrench in that game plan and beat him, how good is it going to feel to get your title back? Not just after losing it, but particularly after losing it the way that you did with such a controversial decision.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to getting my title back. Um, I still have plenty of time, and I'm going to be working harder than ever to make sure that there's nothing that Ok Rae-yoon can do to stop me from winning this fight. So yeah, I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to that.
Hmm. The first time you guys fought, you had the same record, and of course, if you win the rematch, he'll have one more loss, and you'll have one more win. Your records will be the same again. Now, to me, that just kind of sounds like the grounds for a trilogy. You guys are at the same places in your career, both both champions or former champions, depending how it goes. Is that something you can see happening? Maybe if you win this second fight, a tiebreaker down the road.
Yeah, so I think that if the fight goes similar to how it went before, and if I win a 5 round decision, then of course I think there should be a trilogy. But if I go out there and I finish him quick like I plan to, I really don't see a need in having a third fight, because I do feel that I won the first time around. So
Mhm.
it all depends on how the fight goes.
Fair enough. And then just looking ahead, obviously, I know you're the kind of guy who focuses on the task at hand. But assuming you win the belt back and you look out over your territory as the champion, who do you think the next contender is? Is it Daggy right now? I mean, who do you see as the next guy after Ok Rae-yoon?
Well, the lightweight division is still stacked with some of the best fighters in the world. Dagi's still up there, but we've seen him fight once since the last time that me and him fought. So in the last 3 years, he's fought only once. I think that maybe just one more fight for him, and he would be next in line. Then there's a few other contenders that are coming up. I know there's the new Russian. His
Hmm.
name's Sergey. Also, he's doing real good. And just anyone in the lightweight division really floating up to the top 10 could be within a title shot, just one or two fights away. So
Hmm.
I know Eddie's wants that belt, so he's probably going to be getting a big fight soon to put himself into contention. So we'll see. The lightweight division has always been stacked, and once I get the belt back, then we can talk about that from there.
Cool, cool. I wanted to ask you about Eddie. Obviously, things have not gone the way he planned in one championship. And, you guys have been sort of linked to a fight for a long time. He's been one of these big fights available for you, but he just can't seem to get a streak going to earn that title shot. Having said that, though, you've got Daggy, but then, Shinya's riding a loss to Sexyama. Yuri Lapicus, I'm not sure you saw, he's actually going up to welterweight for his next fight. So a couple of the top guys are now out of the way. Do you think it's possible that one win and Eddie could be right there for a title shot?
Yeah, I think so. Especially with the Amazon Prime deal, they're trying to break into the U.S. market. I think Eddie is definitely a guy that they want going for the title. So I would love to see him get a title shot. I mean, he's put in a lot of work throughout his career, and really he's at the later half of it. So, I mean, if his one last goal is to get a shot at the one championship belt, then hopefully he gets there.
Mhm. You're known for being a very polite and classy, respectful guy. So this is probably a bit of a dumb question, but do you get tired of talking about Eddie Alvarez? Right, he signed with one championship in 2019, and there was all this buzz about a potential fight between the two of you at one point, and it hasn't happened. But we're still talking about it. Do you kind of get tired of talking about this guy?
No, I don't. I mean, uh, it was big news for one championship when Eddie got signed because he was, him and DJ, they were the first uh, UFC champions coming into one, going for a shot at the belt. So, they've done a great job in their careers. I think they've earned their right to want a title shot, but, both of them have tried. And I think he's coming up. He's going to be going for the belt again. And I'm sure Eddie will be on his way to a title shot again soon.
Hmm. Looking down the road, assuming you're the champion when you fight Eddie, what would it mean to you to have a win over a guy like that? Just in terms of what he's accomplished and the value of his name.
I think it would be great to get a win over Eddie. Like I said, he's a very accomplished fighter. He's gotten belts in multiple organizations, and he's definitely going to go down as a legend in the sport. So, definitely a fight that I would love to make happen. But right now I got this fight ahead of me, and I'm not sure who Eddie's next fight is, but hopefully he gets a few wins, and then maybe we'll cross paths in the future.
Definitely, man. That would be a cool fight if it ends up happening. Totally shifting gears here. Leah Bivens is making her one championship debut in the next card, her MMA debut as well. I spoke to her a couple weeks back. Delightful young person, and I know she spends quite a bit of time, or she has spent quite a bit of time around you and your family. Having said that, I mean, what do you think of her chances in this debut she has coming up?
Yeah, she's a talented young fighter, and I think she's gonna do real well. She came up to help Victoria with I think one or two of her fight camps, and they crossed paths earlier. They're both competing uh, at a youth amateur level for the Pancratian Nationals, and they went up to the World Championships for Pancratian as youth also. So, she's got a similar journey to my sister, and she's a talented young fighter. So I think she's going to do good.
Hmm. At this point, it's quite clear that the sky is the limit for your younger sister. But for Leah, as someone who's trained with her, I mean, what is the ceiling for someone like her? You feel like she can go all the way, as they say. She can win the title one day.
Yeah, definitely. She's got a good amount of experience as a youth, and now she's going to make her professional debut. So, yeah, I wish her the best.
Hmm. Awesome. Well, let's circle back to this fight with Ok Rae-yoon to wrap things up. How confident are you that by the time this year is over, you're going to be the champion again?
I'm 100% confident that I'm gonna win this fight and I'm gonna be champion again.
And last question for you: how do you see yourself doing it? Any prediction for this one?
I see it as a first round knockout.